Okay, we are live. What are we doing? Let me pull up my stream chat. And let's pop that out. Okay. And let's get my OBS. Okay. Today, what are we doing? We are going to be doing, we didn't finish this last time, because we got to here, and where's my pen? We got stuck on this because the way Tiled exports its Lua files, I, for some reason, could not find... I couldn't find how they labeled their stuff in their tables. Although I'm now realizing I could just literally look at the Lua file and figure that out myself. Even though I spent a ton of time on that yesterday. So if I go to Assets and Tile Map, I can see map scale 2.lua. So if you see, the weird thing is the way I kind of like index into this table is I can look at for every instance of a tile, so for every square, create my own tile class for that. But because this like theoretically, to look into this table, you could see that oh, did I not? I didn't post my link. I didn't post my link on my Instagram story for the stream. That's kind of funny. We're just gonna do another picture, and then we're gonna do my Discord link. Or can I get this to share it? Is this the same link every time? It's not. So I gotta send this to my Discord, which is not open right now. Oh no, it is. So let me put this in here. Copy the link. And do link. Guys, I'm definitely a professional streamer, as you can tell. There we go. Okay. Now we are good. So I can get rid of this. And go back to the chat. Alright. So yeah, when I bring in this as a map, the issue is it goes through STI first, and I really don't know what how STI parses this all out into its own table. So I wish I could reference it by like, okay, I just want the layer name, so I could just do tileset.name or something. But the way that STI looks at the map, so if I go to classes, let's see, objects. Is this what I want? No, we want to go to states, and then our dev state. So if I go to like my draw function, right, it go like this Lua file on the right goes through STI first, and then I can do a bunch of stuff with it, like game map draw layer, which is like super fun and helpful and handy. but the documentation doesn't tell me anything about how those tables are set up. So you can see I'm referencing like game map.layers. And then when I'm creating my tiles, I also have to do like whatever. But I just wish it kind of held the same structure as what the Lua thing gave me. And I guess I could just parse it myself if I wanted to do that, but that's the point of using a library. So I did figure out though how we're gonna do this a little bit off stream. So the idea is we have a bunch of tiles that are drawn from tiled, and the different layers will symbolize what we want to do with it. So all the tiles that are like, here, let's create a new thing that's just gonna be our shell. What? Oh, why I'm in here. There we go. So you can see that I have these tiles here, which if I turn like debug mode off, I can collide with and I can run on, and they create friction. So I have like a physics friction when I'm running on it. But I thought it'd be cool to just use tiled also to just put like spawn points, warp points, or whatever, and then just create the thing at that position. So I can basically draw everything in my game before actually coming to the code and doing it. So you can see this tile got drawn, but I can't collide with it because it's on a different layer of non-collidable or spawn point points, this wooden block here. And the idea is I can put it in tiled. So if I pull up tiled, I can make a new layer and call it whatever I want, and then I can put stuff there and do different stuff to it depending on what layer it's on. So like this spawn layer, I can put a spawn point, it'll be invisible, but then I will just take the X and Y coordinates of it and spawn the player there, versus hard coding where the player spawns, which I don't know if that's like the intention or what tiled is even for, but yeah. But now that I figured out the layers thing, we should be able to move on to, like, we don't have to draw that anymore, but we can take out, so like layer spawn, see, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get out the .x and the .y position, and just send that to the player. So we just need to make sure we're drawing the map first, and then drawing the player second. That should be pretty simple. But I always say things should be pretty simple, and they end up not being pretty simple. So let's just move this over here for right now, and move this. I guess I need to make the one smaller. There we go. Okay. So let's start in where we create tiles. So that'll be here, and we will open up. Classes, objects, tile, or it should be tile handler. Tile, spawn objects, tile handler. So I don't even think I need this function anymore, because we're mainly using this now with tiled. I think that was before I was even using tiled. So also I'm seeing how freaking white my arm is. What's going on? So yeah, this is this is a terrible structure for this. Again, I don't know the table structure because STI is handling that. and I don't have a good debugger to investigate what the structure of their tables is. And if I try to print stuff, it just prints the memory address, as you can see on my like over here. If I try to print things, it just prints the table address, which is like really helpful in some instances, really not helpful in an instance like this. So basically, we're gonna look at every tile instance. If it's empty for whatever reason, just don't try to do anything. Just skip to continue, which is fine. And then for every tile type in tile instance, we're just gonna create a temporary tile. And then, let's see, we have it printing. Oh, this is interesting. Print game map layers. I really don't like that it highlights every time I do white space, but it's fine. I guess I can delete that. So we actually don't need this at all, or this, because basically, so if we're just gonna have a huge switch, I think we're just gonna have a huge switch case statement, although you can't do that in Lua, so we're doing a big if statement. So if the layer is a certain thing, do a certain thing, create a certain kind of tile. Else, we're doing that. Although, why is that tile still getting created then, the brown one? Because it shouldn't even be an object. It shouldn't be a tile added. It shouldn't even be a tile added to the list of things to draw. Oh, I know why. Because you have to draw by layer, and we're specifically, so let's look for our draw function. Yeah, I'm specifically drawing that just to see where it is. Okay, let's just keep that just for like debugging purposes. But yeah, okay, so if our tile layer is spawn, we'll leave the print statement there just for now, but we'll want to create a new tile. X is going to equal to our tile.x, y is equal to tile.y. That should be a underscore, and then, yep. I wonder if we can get the width and height from the tile, because it's always going to be 32, and I don't know if I want to hard code this right now. Can collide is actually going to be false, and I think that's all the stuff we want to throw into the object variables. It's going to need, it's still going to be an object, I think. It's still gonna be, do I want something like a spawn tile to be an object? I guess we can just give it a certain tag if we don't want it to do certain things. So we'll create a tile, and we're just setting can collide equal to false. Yes. Okay. So if I go over here, it'll be an object, but we shouldn't be able to collide with it, theoretically. Okay. Nice. Can't collide with it. And it should be part of our object handler. Alright, I think that'll work out fine. And then we want to make sure that the tile, or the tile map is, let's do on enter. So this is the player, and again, I need to figure out if I want this to be an instance of, or a class variable. Because on destroy, I don't want extra references at other places. That's fine. We are creating the game map. And then we're creating player. NPC item. Oh, no. Yeah, game map. So this needs to be, we need to take this out and this out. And this is actually useless right now because that was before we've been using STI. And then we want to bring those up right after the map. So let's do yeah, both of those. So now we're creating those objects before the player, and then the player X position is just gonna be I don't want to have to list through all of the objects to get to our spawn tile. So what's a good way to do this? We can create one loop because this is just on enter. So let's just do for index object is equal to I pairs in, because tile will be added to that. Object, I think it's self.object handler. And then do this. We list through objects down here as well. Oh yeah, the object. We need the object table. That's right. We need the object table. So let's go back up and do object handler dot object table, and then that should be a table. Why do you not like this? Is it because we haven't created that yet? Let's see. This needs to stop being hard-coded as well here. Self. Oh, I'm missing an in. Okay. Let's go back and forward. Oh, it's not equals, it's just in. Okay. And we should be able to just do like, so in here, just do like tag equals. Move my mouse out of the way. Can you move? Okay. So tag is equal to player spawn. And then we can just do like this. If object dot player or object dot tag is equal to player spawn, then we can do like then second equals. So if the tag of the object is player spawn, then spawn tile is equal to object. And this only needs to literally be within scope of enter, because we're only using it for player spawn. I think that works. So then if we go to, actually, let me check to make sure tag is within object and not within player. So classes, objects, object. We have, oh, it's self.type. Let's do .type. There's something that we use, let's see. There's something that we use to like name stuff when I'm going through objects. So if I do like self.object handler, maybe, am I crazy? Where have I used that before? I mean, this should just work, even if only one thing has a tag, but I know I've used tags somewhere else to just name things. Let's just see if this goes on. Yeah, we didn't get any errors. I know I've tagged things somewhere else. I'm not crazy, I don't think. And our X is just gonna be spawn tile.x. Oh, we want this to be in scope of our enter, not, yeah. And we can just delete this and delete that. Oh, no, we need spawn tile. There we go. Now that should be in the right scope. So let's do spawn. Oops. I literally cannot type today. What's happening? Spawn tile.x. And we don't need the 100. Oh no, it needs to be y equals, and then a comma, and then width. So theoretically, the player should spawn on the spawn tile. I don't know if this tag thing is gonna work, but attempt to index local spawn tile on 82. Hmm. 82. Spawn tile.x, spawn tile.y. Let's think. What if I just do like print spawn tile.x? Yes, that's gonna be on. Wait. Attempt to index. Is that saying that? Is that saying what I'm trying to index is nil, or the spawn tile itself is nil? Player spawn. Let's do this. This is gonna sound probably insane. We're just gonna do type. But the type needs to be tile. don't know where else I've used... I should figure out where else I've used tags before I do this. So let's go to, like... I think the most obvious thing is if I've done, like, player... Oh! I've done, like, is player, self.is player. But then tags should work. So I have type, which is fine. But... because we want to keep the type as tile. It always needs to be a tile. But we should do self.is spawn point or something. Also I don't know why I used camel case for any of these. So let's go back and we'll do let's do, yeah, because it's trying to do like the params or whatever. Oh man, I think we should do tag, and then we should go to our object, our base object. So objects, object, and we should just add that as here. We'll do self.tag is equal to params.tag, or should I do it like that or like that? So default tag is that. Then if there should be like a parameter associated with objects. Hey, okay. We are now spawning. We are now spawning on our wooden block. So I've essentially just turned that tile, that one specific tile, into a spawn point. So now if I close out of this, I go to tiled, and then I move this, get rid of you, and just make sure we're on the spawn layer up here. And we put it up here now, and we save, and we export as map scale 2. I'm sorry if that was loud. And then we go back. We should spawn in like the middle upper part of the screen. Yeah, that's so cool. Obviously that'll be invisible later, but nice. Okay, so if I just tag everything also with what it is. But see, here's the interesting part is I'm kind of duplicating stuff here, because the layer being spawn, is already an indicator of what it is. So do I really need to tag the object at the same time? I might need to. Also, how do I make you bigger? Oh, my eyeballs. Help me. Let's resize this. Percentage. I don't know, 400%. By 400%. Oh, I didn't want to resize. Man, you know what I was trying to do, man. There we go. And let's paint bucket you. Okay. What the? I don't want to paste stuff. How do you move? What is? What in? I don't know how to use this program. Escape. What is just like the pan tool? I don't want to left click to create text box. That's selection. Where are you? whatever. I will use the scroll bars. 100%. There we go. And we'll just scroll down a little bit. Okay. So now, theoretically, I just put everything on its own layer. But do I want it to be layers though? What else can tile do? Because tiled you can do objects and you can create a new... Okay, that's a new object layer. Maybe I'll just stick with layers for right now. Because eventually I'm gonna have a really big sprite sheet. And so if I just make like an objects layer, then... Okay, this is gonna get a little interesting. Because if I just make an objects layer, it's not gonna know what object that is. It'll know it by sprite, but it's not gonna know it by like ID or whatever. So what is adding an object layer does? Object layer 1. Test object. So if I put in like... So this is an object layer. Test object. I can give it a class, custom properties. I'm noticing that I cannot insert rectangle, insert point, insert template, insert tile. Interesting. So it's not, first of all, I'm noticing it's not snapping to grid. Or I can do control to snap to grid. Okay. Okay, so maybe I do this. So let's just do, this is gonna be my object, right? And then let's export this. Export as, oh, I can name it. Oh, okay, so let's name this as right corner. I like that it does that. Right corner, or bottom right corner grass. So if this was like a collectible or something, and we can even do stuff like, interesting. I spelled that wrong. Okay, so let's export that as this here. And so now when I go back to Emacs, this song is terrible. What am I listening to right now? Should I go back to the lo-fi? I was kind of liking the lo-fi yesterday. Like the game lo-fi. We can do like Zelda or something. Okay. Let me know if that is too loud or whatever. But let's go back to my Emacs. So I need to look how that exported first, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how it handles objects, which I might have to take that into VS Code to figure out. But let's see what's in my buffer. So map scale.lua. I don't know if this updated. Spawn. Let's kill this buffer and reopen. No. Oops. Kill. Yeah, kill anyways. And let's go find the map again. Assets, tile map. Reopen this. Ah, here we go. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Interesting. So I'm very curious to know how this gets parsed out. So we have like an object group and then ID 3. Yeah, I may have to bring this into VS Code just to debug this because I don't know how STI is gonna parse this out for me. So let's bring up this. I'm in the wrong folder. So let's go to our code and our games and let's see. Yeah, I can see this open in my buffer right now. But here we go. So we have our 2 layers and then we have our object. So we just want to put a breakpoint right after this gets created. So like here. And if we do this. Yeah, I forgot I changed that. What did I change that from? LL. Oh man. I changed that for Emacs and I don't remember what that was from. So let's go to, that is not the right project. Let's go to an earlier commit and just see. So let's just go to my states and dev state and oops, search within code. State. What am I trying to do? Why is this not changing to, there we go, dev state. And then at the top of my dev state, it should be, oh no, it's not my dev state, it's just my main. Where is main? What? No, this is for the STI stuff. There we go. LL debugger. Okay, I was close to that. Save. Now we can debug. Alright. You did not at all create a breakpoint in what I was trying to do. Why did you not stop here? Save this maybe. Save this. Now can you stop on this breakpoint? I guess we're not starting on, what about this? Try again. There we go. Okay. So basically what we want to look at is we want to look at and this is what I need for Emacs, is something like this. I don't need it to be a GUI, I just need to be able to step through and look at stuff like game map here. So I just need to figure out where. Okay, so it's just immediately game map.objects. And I'm noticing I can go immediately game maps.layers. But yeah, maybe I just don't spawn objects as tile instances. Although I probably should. So that's all the times that the ID2 was spawned. And this is layer spawn. And I think this is my object. Layer objects. Okay, that's a lot to go through. So it's tile instances at 9 at 1. Okay, and this is where I can start indexing. So if the layer is, should be like a string that's associated with this. So type or name, type, name, here we go. So if the layer is an object layer, and if okay, this is, wow, this is gonna be a crazy amount of stuff. I'm gonna need a lot of if statements. That's okay. I'm just gonna do that for now, and then if that's like really annoying and I don't want to end up doing that, then I won't. So let's also move this over here, and I don't need you. Okay. So let's go to our tile handle. So this is gonna be classes, objects, or spawn objects, tile handler. So in our tile handler, we're gonna check the layer. So this is gonna end up being else if, and this is gonna be if, whoops, I don't need all of this for this, but we are going to go here, and we are going to, I think this copies the whole line? No, I don't know what that did, but here, end of the line, copy, paste. So if our layer name is, we're just going to make it object, and then entitled, we will go back and we will change the name of this to object. It's gonna be our object layer. Save, export as this, and I'll go back here. So if our layer name is object, then, oh, it's gonna be so nested. It's okay, it only runs one time on enter. So we'll do, let's see, if layer name is object, and then if temp tile dot layer, I think it's layer dot object. Layer.objects.name. is equal to, oops, layer.objects.name is equal to, and what did we name this? What did we name this? BR corner grass. BR corner grass. This is the ugliest if statement I've ever written in my entire life. I apologize. Or nested. There's got to be a better way to do this, but just a test. Print. We're not going to create a tile. We're just going to print objects created. And it shouldn't even draw. It shouldn't create a tile, and it shouldn't draw it at all. Okay, it's good it didn't create it, but it also did not. Let's see. Temp tile layer name is equal to object. Did not say object created. We have spawn tile. Let's see. So temp tile. So temp tile dot layer dot objects dot, oh, because it's not, oh man, I mean, is it always gonna be, shoot, am I gonna have to put another for loop here? Because it's gonna list all the objects in the object layer. Dang it. Okay. Oh, all right. Oh my god, this is gonna be so ugly. All right. If temp tile dot layer is equal to object, then for we'll do object index and object tile in I pairs. How did I do it before? So game map.tile instances. So already in here, temp tile at temp tile dot layer dot name. Do I want to do that? Temp tile dot layer dot objects. Yes. At the index. Yes. No, this is right. Do. Whoops. Do. Now we can put if object tile dot, because we're going to be in one here, if object tile dot name is equal to br corner grass, then do this. Oh, I don't need the parentheses. And then also we don't need this. We can say print grass block object. I think that works, and we definitely don't need, I don't think we need the object index, but we'll keep it just for whatever. Hey, grass block object. Okay, so it found it. So we have grass block object right here. So it found it, which is good. Let's go back to chat. All right. This is fine. This is just so ugly. The issue is, you know what? This is not even my fault. This is STI's fault. And maybe I shouldn't use this library. Maybe I should just parse out the Lua file myself. Because all STI is simple tile implementation. It is really good. I'm kind of memeing, but this stuff is just nested upon nested upon nested in different tables. And this would normally be super, super terrible. I am kind of parsing it myself because I'm going through their whole parse to add tiles to my own. I'm making my own tiles. These are my own custom objects with different parameters. So what we can do is we can make a tile. We can go down to tile, and we can grab this and this, and we can copy it, and we can go into here, and we can paste that and fix it. Can collide, we'll leave that as false just to make sure. And here's the issue. Is I think this just turns into object tile, because object tile name is on the same level as, yeah. So let's delete that and object tile. And then I should rename everything from temp tile. So let's save that, and let's replace string temp tile to be layer tile. Or should I make it layer tile? I mean, technically everything's a layer tile. I should have object tiles, which are objects part of a specific object layer, and then, I don't know, maybe environment tile. Env tile. It's like environment tile. And then we just need to go up here. God, this is so ugly. Env tile. If environment tile. No, technically temp tile is the right word for this. So everything's going to be an environment tile, and then if the environment tile is part of the layer object, so let's add another let's do this, and we'll add let's add another object to tiled and call it something completely different, like right here, and we'll name it top right corner grass, and then save and export. So then we'll just add to here just an else statement or something. So else if object tile dot name is equal to top right corner grass, then print top right. And then up here, we'll do delete, delete. And we'll do bottom right. And then that should be, oh, I can close that. Oops, I'm missing an N somewhere. Let's see. God, this is so hard to read. What is this end for? Because this is if end tile dot layer name. I just have an extra end. Okay. So now theoretically, I shouldn't be able to see it, but it should print. Interesting. Okay, that's not quite what I wanted. That's definitely not what I wanted because I see BRTR twice. Maybe we go back to the VS Code and stop debugging and try doing it again. Because I think I'm just getting the organization wrong, or the structure wrong. Because it doesn't make sense to go into a tile and then go into like whatever. Also, that did not break point again. Breakpoint. Okay, good. There's a good breakpoint. So if I go to game map, and then I go to tile instances, and then the instance of, oh, I think I see what's happening. I think I understand. I think I can make this a lot easier, to be honest. I think if we just go into... Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, that's so annoying how they do that. So let me bring this over here. So basically, I could do this two different ways. The first way is go by every tile instance, which means this is sprite 9, this is sprite 21, sprite 1, sprite 2. And here's all the instances of sprite 9. There's only one. All the instances of sprite 21, there's only one. Sprite 1, there's only one. Sprite 2, there's a bunch. But to do it that way, I would have to index into this, determine if the name is object. But then why is objects stored? Oh, okay. I think I'm understanding maybe. I think I'm understanding. So we have our game map. So this needs to go, we're just gonna do this side by side. And we're gonna make this the only thing that's in frame. So let's just do this step by step. We are in game map. So for every type index, for every tile type in the tile instances, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this specific sprite, we have one instance of it. Theoretically, none of our sprites should be both like an environment sprite and an object sprite. I don't think that would ever happen. So I'm kind of thinking of a thing that could go wrong by doing this, but I don't think that would ever happen. So tile instances, if the layer name, and then we're going through every instance of that sprite. So every instance of this sprite, we're gonna look at the layer name. Let's see. Dot layer. Pairs. So we're looking at type, tile instance at type index. So none of these have, where am I getting name from? Oh, dot layer dot name. I see. Okay, so I go in here. If it's this, then we do something. For objects, it's going to be different. If dot layer dot name is an object, then I don't think we need this whole for loop. I think we just need to look at okay, this is where it's tripping me up because I don't know why they store both instances of objects. That's so redundant, and I think it's what's messing me up. We just need properties. Why is name not in here? Name is here for the layer, but how do I get that specific? I could get ID 3. That doesn't mean anything to me. I want the name. I want the name of the object. So we're in layer. Oops. So this sprite is in layer object. And then in layer object, we have these two things, which is how I'm trying to look at. Could I just do, because objects are up here already. Could I, like, this is literally the same thing, with the same stuff. So could I just do if layer is object, then just skip, and then do a separate for loop for stuff that's not environment tiles? I think that's what I want to do. All right, let's scrap this. So basically get rid of all this, because I also want this just to be a lot cleaner anyways. So if object literally do nothing, because I'm gonna have a separate for loop for objects. So this is gonna be objects. So for oh, I have to be careful though, because this does need to be outside of, I think this just needs to be outside of here. because this is already looking at tile instances, which is on the same layer as objects. So we'll do for type, or for, let's see, for tile index tile type in pairs game map dot objects. Game map dot objects. Do some stuff. What are we gonna do? Why am I getting so many green lines? What? Game map dot objects. Do this. Let's see. I think the same thing with nil. So let's just go up 20 lines and grab this whole line. And then we'll go back down and we will paste this. But if game map dot, see, I don't need, what am I doing? This could just be if tile type. That's the whole point. If tile type is equal to nil, then go to continue end, and we'll do continue here. So now we're going to cycle through each one of these. So it's going to be a 1, nil is go to continue, 2 is here. So if tile type dot name is equal to br corner grass, then print br. We can do else if tile type dot name is equal to top right corner grass, then print top right, and oops. So essentially I'm looping through all the tile instances and skipping over any objects, and then I'm coming back and I'm re-indexing into this objects, because tile instances includes all the objects, but in a weird way for some reason. But objects is just the objects with their X and Y's and everything. So I think this is what I want. I think. So let's go back full screen here. Let's open a new window. We'll drag that over. We'll just make it a shell. And there we go. Now we're only printing BRTR once. And good, we're not drawing them or anything. That is good. And we're still spawning on that. Cool, so now we can start making the objects for those. So if we go up to here and we grab this, oops, 15 next, and we paste this, the tag will be br corner grass, and we need it to be tile type type dot x and y. And we shouldn't be able to collide with it, but I have to make sure to draw the object layer. So let's open, actually it should just still be in our buffer. Dev state, and let's search for our draw. And let's add this here, game map draw layer. Game map dot layers. And I think it's just object. So now we should be able to see both of those tiles. Only one of them. Let's change this to collide. Let's see. Collide is going to be true. So it's going to draw both of them, and we should only be able to collide with one of them. Okay, we could see both of them. Now about colliding. This should be the one we should be able to collide with. Okay, we're not colliding with this at all. But this one, the X and Y, is wrong. Which is very strange. I'm colliding with, it's a whole 32 by 32 off from what it should be. Which is very strange. Why is your collision box like that? That's a very strange bug. At least the drawing works. Maybe it has something to do with the object layer. So I don't want to paint anymore. So this, why is, I just want selection. Let me select. How do I select stuff in this layer? Here we go. Oh. Terrain brush, stamp brush, bucket. Select same tile. Tile on here. That's very interesting. Yeah, width and height is 32 by 32. How? Why is the Y offset initially 32 for objects? How do I change that? How do I change that? Project properties? Like, this is literally, why is 0, 0 the bottom left corner? Select enclosed objects. Insert tile. Edit preferences. Embedded tile sets. Pixel perfect object selection. Keyboard shortcuts. That doesn't really help. Let's see. What did I just open? I don't care about my firewall. Firefox. Tiled objects offset by 32 y-axis. Let's see. Working on isometric map. Tile provides a vertical offset layer property. Okay. Object layer properties. Vertical offset 32. Because why is it doing that, to be honest? Yeah, so now it's let's put it back here. Actually, we'll put it here so it's easier to collide with, and this one should be here, and we shouldn't be able to collide with that. So here, and then we'll export. That's so weird that there's a baked in. I mean, is that my fault that I might have done something wrong? Okay, so let's go out of debug mode. Okay, I can't interact with that at all. Oh, it's the same thing. The collision box is... Okay, so it's not... What? Why is it drawing up there? So this is right, because I put the thing here, but it's just drawing at an offset. Drawing at the thing is correct. It's drawing at an offset. But why? Why are you doing that? So you put it here. That's fine. Just don't draw it higher than it should be. What? I also don't prefer having this like this. If I export this, will it put it one higher, and then the hitbox will be here, but it'll draw it up here if it's gonna do what I think it's gonna do. No, it literally did the same thing. The offset didn't even make a difference. Oh no, it did, it did. Still drawing up here. Why are you drawing up here? Okay, let's go. History. Tiled objects drawn by 32 y-axis. Yeah, it's not an oversight but a feature, and I fully admit that it is a confusing feature. The registration point or origin of tile object is the bottom left corner. Once it is cleared, it's obvious why a tile object is 0, 0 will disappear. Now that it's established that the origin of bottom left is in many cases confusing, there's a plan to make this configurable. So interesting. Okay, so this has already been an issue, but this was an issue in 2013. So there's gotta be a way to configure that somehow, maybe in the layer properties. Drawing order. it's gotta be in preferences, but it's not really. Interface. Let's go back. Oops. Let's see. So I could just set a manual offset. I don't mind doing that. I just want to see if short tile objects are freely positioned, so place them at 0, 0 means it will sit exactly at the origin of the map. In addition, tile currently aligns tile to an orthogonal mode to their bottom left. Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. Orthogonal. Where have I seen that? It's like drawing mode, orthogonal. How do I change view? I've seen that somewhere. Is there like object properties maybe? That's for that specific thing. How do I, can I change that on export maybe? Let's see. See, there's no project properties. Let's do change tiled change orthogon. I have no idea how to spell that. Y-axis. Let's see. Let's see. Is this the same issue? This is probably gonna be the same issue. Oh. Let's see. Okay. I think temporarily I'm just going to change the draw to be offset by 32. Well, okay, so if I leave this like here, right, and then make sure I export this, and then I go back. So this is without any offset. It should be drawn there with the hitbox here. So the hitbox is what is offset, but it's drawing it in the right spot. So I just need to change the offset, the Y offset. So when I create my tile, I can just do plus 32. That feels bad to do, but I don't really see another workaround in tiled. Oh, plus 30. Okay, it's gonna be minus 32. 'Cause 0 is at the top. Like this. Yeah. Okay, so this should have collisions as an object now. And then this should not have collisions because I haven't made a tile for it yet. But they should both be drawing in the right spot. Okay. Whoa. Very nice. So I think I can check that off my list now. So, oh, we already did this. We already made our spawn labeled tile to be like that. So we can spawn at any point we put on our tiled map. And I did objects and that. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna push this. Get push. Or get commit. Or is it saved? Make sure it's saved. Well, let's see what's in my buffer. Okay, we're good. So let's kill that. Git commit. Tiled. We'll do tiled implementation of layer parsing with STI to label different tiles coming from tiled. I just realized that's still part of debug mode, but whatever. We can do git switch dev. Oops. And then we can do git merge debug mode. And we can do git pull. And that should be merged into our dev branch. I love this debug mode. This is so great. It's gonna be super helpful later when I'm creating maps and stuff. I can start creating actual... Well, the idea is like objects are never gonna have a collision box, which I don't think. Unless I want to make like movable objects or something. But yeah, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, I think. Five-minute break. let's continue. So we just finished tiled implementation, I think fully at this point. We can go all the way from creating layers in tiled and parsing out those layers in our code to do different stuff. So like, I made a spawn layer, and I can move this tile wherever I want it to be. I don't know why the stamping's not working, but whatever. Come on, stamp. Hello? Stamp brush. Oh, I had a selection on this one. Okay. This, I wonder what happened if I put 2 spawn points, but theoretically, it would just take the second one that I did. Actually, let's see what happens. I'm kind of curious. This might be good for thinking about bugs later. So if I put 2 spawn points, how is that going to handle it? Emacs. Yeah, okay, I was right. It just spawns at the second one that's graded in the list. I mean that's good. Whoops. It's good. It's not gonna end up messing anything up if I accidentally do that. So I guess I could work on sprites, but that's more art than coding. So I don't know if I want to do that just yet. I think screen transition should be the next thing, because I'm not entirely sure how I want to design it just yet. So let's think about screen transition. Also, I put my phone down somewhere. Where did I put my phone? There. I'm getting a call, so I will be right back. Okay, so screen transitions. Let's see. Yeah, I'm completely unfamiliar with this, so I might have to look up some kind of reference. Because there's like a couple ways we can think about how we want to set up the map. I kind of want to think about big picture going down to like the smallest possibility. So, like, at the biggest scale, we could draw, like, the whole map. We could draw, like, the whole map here with, like, different areas. Here, 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 whatever. So, like, the whole map. And we could just put, like, warp points. Put it in, like, blue. So we could put, like, a warp point from here to here. So if you just touch the warp point, it will transition from this to this. And if you put a warp here, it'll transition from this to this. Warp here, here, and so on and so forth. A couple issues I can already foresee doing it this way. One is loading the whole map. So the good things about this is we can put it on one Lua file. So one map file. And that might be kind of easy to like visualize how big some areas are from others and whatnot. Definitely a con right off the bat is the camera, because the camera will, like, if we have gaps or even if we butt up the rooms right against each other, if the player goes up to where like the warp zone is, or let's just say they're like right here, it's hard to tell it not to look past this, right? Or if you're like here, it's hard to tell it not to look past this or here, because that would just be empty space or whatever. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be too difficult. I could just put like camera barrier blocks or something, tiles. But also a glaring issue is loading the whole map at once, which I can see that being pretty bad. The game's gonna be small, obviously, so like theoretically it probably wouldn't be an issue. Oh, you know what, it would be an issue because if you have like an enemy, right, and you enter a room, you don't want the enemy to be in random spots every time. Like if we have an enemy that like spawns here and it just moves back and forth, like between these two dots, you would want the enemy to spawn in the same spot every time you enter. So we're definitely not gonna do this method. The next, so going smaller, I guess. Going smaller would be to split up each area. So the same way, but this would be like map 1. This would be map 1, map 2, map 3. And we could create states for each of those maps. So con would be new state. But I mean, that's the whole point of the states, is you want to get rid of all your references to stuff in the map before. So it's kind of a pro and a con. Remove references. And we could also still use the warp points. The warp points would just move you between, instead of moving your literal XY position, you would move, well, you would still change your literal XY position, but it would just move you to the new state. And then your player Oh. This is why like self.player is good, because you could send a reference self.player. You could send this reference to the next state. Yes. Because I'm kind of thinking about like deleting player as an object, but I don't know if that's actually how it's handled in games. Like, should it be handled... Like, you never actually delete the player, you just do an animation where he disappears. Don't draw him until the person says, like, restart or quit. And you just have a state for the character that's like, I'm currently dead. But it's not actually going away. I think that makes sense. So, I think this is a better way to do this. So I think the first thing we need to do, so here's all the things we need to do. We need to, one, make sure that we can get a tile that's a warp. Tile warp. And then we need to make another map. And then we need to transition to a new state. Let's see. Okay. Let's make some new tiles first, because I can't just keep using grass blocks to represent everything. So let's move that out. Let's open up a sprite. There we go. And let's do a new file. Actually, let's just keep adding to our test map or whatever. So I was making this, which would be kind of cool for a warp spot. And then maybe we'll do like this. And let's select this to be our, let's make it like purple, and we'll make it pretty opaque, and then we'll just fill this. Nice. So that's gonna be like our spawn point, and then maybe we can do like, oops, let's do like test object 1. So we'll do like, I don't know, maybe we'll make like a sword or something. I guess the whole point was, the whole point was we're gonna make instruments, but I don't think we make instruments now. Let's just do this. And then we'll put a border on it. Line here, here, here. And we'll copy and paste that over here. Let's draw 2. Nice. 1 and 2. save, and then when we go to tiled, we can add a new tile set. Wait, where'd that go? File, save as. Tile map save. Why am I not seeing? Oh, because it needs to be a PNG. I'm silly. Save as a PNG. There we go. And they're 32 by 32. I'll go tile map. There we go. Oh, I guess you guys can't see this. It's okay. I'm gonna change my headphone batteries. Alright. I know you guys can't see this in the bottom right, but I think we're gonna make like let's go to objects. And how do I delete you? By just adding a different sprite. Here we go. How do I erase you? How do I erase your sprite? Delete? Oh, that deletes the whole object? No way. Settings. I can see there's a drop down for this. I want to change the object sprite. How do I do that? Because I have to figure out placeholders. Because if I put a placeholder and at least I can replace that. So let's replace that. I'll go here. And then like this should just be able to, this should be able to just go over this. Let me see. Tiled replace object sprite. Right click. To change the tile used by existing tile objects, select all the objects you want to change, right click on a tile in the tile set view and replace tile of selected objects. Interesting. Here, don't have a right click option. Duplicate, remove, add object layer, object properties. Select. Let's see. When you're not inserting new objects, you're currently using the select objects tool. Moving, resizing, changing stacking order, connecting objects. Working with objects. Let's see. I don't want to change it via code. Let's see. tile objects. Objects gonna make it easier. Let's see. Make an object layer to your map. Each type of object has its own placement tool. Moving, resizing. Let's see. To change the tile used by existing tile objects, select all the objects you want to change in the Select Objects tool. Set this, Select Objects tool. And then right-click on a tile. Ooh, replace tile. Okay, why is that so hidden? Nice. To place tile. Alright, so let's select this, like this. It's fine. We'll leave the names just because I don't really care. And then we'll make our spawn point. Make our spawn point like right here. And we can delete this. So we're gonna do file, save as, and we're gonna do map 1. Oh, we're also going to add objects, and we're going to add this portal space here. Oops, did that add that to that? Yeah, okay, so we need to delete this. We need to go to the object layer, and we need to go here. And we don't want to select, we want to insert a tile. Snap it to grid there, and we're gonna call it warp. So we're gonna do the map we're warping from underscore warp underscore the map we're warping to. So we're gonna do 1 underscore warp 2. Yeah. And then we'll do save, and then we'll do export, and we'll do map1.lua. Okay, and let's just make sure that works. So if we go back in our code, oh, we got so many things open. We need to open, first we need to load the new map. So let's go on load, or on enter. It should just be map 1. Nice. And we have a warp square. Can't go through 1, and there's our spawn point, and we can go through 2, and we have a warp block. Cool. Then in our tile manager, we need to say in objects, I think let's leave it as else if right now. Else if tile type dot name is equal to 1 warp 2, then I can make a function for this. It'll take in the name and warp you to the next one. But for right now, well, we won't worry about that. So we'll do 1 warp 2, then tile. So we're going to create a new tile. And we're going to copy that. And we're going to paste it. So we're going to create a new tile, and yeah, it's going to be here. We cannot collide with it. Like that. Good. Now, if we can collide with it, we can delete this whole thing. We don't need this. If we can collide with it, we also don't need this either. If we can collide with it, or if we can't collide with it, can we still get if we're hovering over it? I think that's in oof. Is that in our object file? Objects, object. Okay, we're adding our objects to it. Check collisions. So this does not. Okay, it does say, can you collide? If you can collide, false, whatever. But this is fine because we only care about the player colliding with other stuff. Oof. Let's think about this for a second. We could okay, so this is just returning our collide list, and then collide list in collide list. But what else is calling check collisions? Check collisions. Oops. That's just here. But I think like the player calls it. So if we go to here, objects, player, check collisions. So we check collisions and we get our collide list. I think this is interesting because I may need one more variable to go along with this. Because let's go to like our item thing. If player.interact, if player.interact equals true and hovering equals true, so that's not interact, but I think this is, maybe this is from interactables. So we do have check collisions with interactables. So maybe we don't make this, maybe we don't make objects tiles. Maybe we make them all interactables. Because I think that makes sense. So let's see if that still works with our tile handler. So instead of tiles, let's just make these interactables. Interactables. Power of object-oriented program. People. Oh. Create tile objects. I got rid of that. Sorry. Equal to false. And then interactable. Oh, this is an error from the dev room state, and it's trying to create tile objects, but that's deprecated. I'm literally not gonna use that anymore, so I should change that. All right, so we have interactables, which I should be able to pass through this one, and I should be able to. Why are you a white square? Why are you a white square? Why are you not a white square? And why are you a white square? Is it because you're getting drawn? Are you getting drawn down here? So let's do draw. So we're drawing the layers, drawing layers. So, we're just doing object draw. Okay, so let's go to draw, and I think I just need to stop drawing it as white. Fill. Because let's do this, and then it might take on whatever the last love color is. Okay, the enemies. Okay, that's fine. The enemy's invisible, but I don't care. This is what I wanted. Cool, and I should be able to collide with this. Nice, 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 nice. Very nice. Our enemy's invisible, that's okay. So we do have a warp point, and if I go in the warp point, it should say, oh, that was the enemy. Okay. So what makes this item say that I'm inside of it? Oh, it's not saying I'm inside of it. Oh, what did we do? We broke something because these. What did I change about collision? I shouldn't have changed anything about collision. But apparently I'm not colliding with these anymore. Or I'm not interacting with them. I just looked at this. I didn't even change anything. Let's see. What did I type for? Let's see if I can pick it up. I think it was K or J or something. I know J is to do the rhythm stuff. K was to pick stuff up. What did I change? I literally didn't change anything. Let me think. So all objects is always checking. All objects is always checking collisions. And then every object returns its own list of things it's colliding with. So the player. Did I change something about the player? We are only checking update velocity, update move. Oh, I wonder if it's because in debug mode I'm not passing it the object handler. No, I can't pick this up either. No, what happened to my... Let's see. What happened to my collisions? They're working so well. I don't know what I changed about my collisions. Because technically my let's go back to my dev state. So we're drawing things correctly. If I go to on, is it on enter? Maybe it was something I changed with on enter. Is it because I'm creating these first or something? So map tiles is fine, but maybe we do... Because I created that very last, so... Create tile objects literally does nothing. I can literally take that out. But add maps to tiles is what we're actually doing, so... This is the error we got before, but we can just take that out because that's not doing anything. So we're just labeling things as spawn tiles, and that's where the player spawns. Self.object handler. Self.object handler. NPC item. Maybe I do. So let's go back to our item thing. I'm losing my trail of where things are starting and ending. I am implementing all the collisions myself, so my base class that basically most of my stuff is inheriting from is from my object class. So object is my kind of top here. So it goes like object, and then it splits into whether it's an entity or an interactable. And then my entities are like player and enemy, and interactables are like tiles and items. All right, now like it was literally working like 5 minutes ago, and I did not barely change anything except for the map that I was working on for like 30 minutes. But this is where it starts. So we take in our object handler, which is just a table of all of our objects, and it goes through every object in our like scene, and if any of those objects are set to can collide false, then it just skips over them. But this is kind of the meat and potatoes. So if something is set to collide, then here's, so if x is less than the other object's x and plus the width and all that logic, it's just boxes crossing over each other. So it's basically like not colliding, and then this is colliding. But like for every object, it lists through all the other objects, which I know is probably not the most ideal thing ever. But then it gets added to a collide list, so all the stuff it's colliding with. And then each of those objects individually can decide what it wants to do with that information. So this is a function that's like for movement. So if an object is colliding with something, then it will just reset its X position to what the other object's X position is. And then the same thing for Y. So like the player and the enemy both use that. But let's see. So let's go to on update, because I think I might have changed something with So basically every object in my object table on update gets their update function called with the state they're in, or the state of the game, and obviously delta time. So that is over here on update. Oh, I guess I'm not automatically doing that. Well, it's still... Obviously, it's collisions are happening because I can still collide with like the floor. So if I go out of debug mode, I can still collide with the floor, and I can still collide with this. But and the enemy who's invisible right now. But so I'm colliding with all my tiles, so I can rule that out. All my tiles have collision. It's my own implemented objects that I'm putting in. Which is strange. So one of them is NPC. So let's look at that first. So on update, oh, see, I'm not even, oh, that's so funny. Did I mean to comment this out? I don't know if I meant to comment that out. Okay, that's still okay. That wasn't actually doing anything, because basically when I hover over this, there should be a text box that appears because this is my NPC. What was my logic for this again? What did I do? Obviously, interact gets called from somewhere, which it probably comes from interactables. So let's look at that instead. Okay, so it is inheriting this. That's why I didn't need my own update function. So actually, I don't need this because it's inheriting the update function from interactables. That would be really funny if that was the case. First off, why is this like that? Okay. So on as an interactable object, we are calling hover interaction with my player and the list of all the objects. So hover interaction. So hover interaction calls check collisions, which is the same thing. Except I should have just inherited from object, but I think I had to add more stuff to it. I think that's why I'm overwriting it. Because I have stuff like, also I'm gonna make this its own screen so we can actually read it. So for every other object in my object list, if the object is itself, obviously we don't want to check collisions against itself, or not the player, or other object. Okay, so if the object is empty for some reason, or myself is empty for some reason, or the other object is myself, go to continue. Why am I going to continue if the other object is the player? And also, why would I not just say or other object is player is equal to false? Anyways, let's see. My player.interact is true, self.hovering. Why do I not like this? I definitely didn't change this since like months ago, or a month ago. Okay, no, this is false. This is false. I'm like double negativing myself here. So, or other player is false. Oh. So, I see. We're basically saying everything, disregard everything else except for the player, because the only person who can interact with the interactable is the player. There shouldn't be anything else interacting with the interactable. Okay, that makes so much more sense. So let's just do a print statement here. So print interacting, and then let's open our terminal. What? I didn't even change that. NPC 63. What? Stack traceback. Oh, that's maybe why I had not there, because wait, let me look at that one more time. Because we're calling leave collision area like on enter. I wonder if that's something where I do need this to be not true, which would be really weird. I don't really know why that would matter, but it's so weird. All right, whatever. But yeah, on hover, does not seem to be working for some reason. I think it's literally just not interactable on update. Interactable. State.object handler, state my player. Okay, let's just make sure I'm even getting into this block, because if I'm not getting into this block, then interactable update. Okay, we're updating. We're doing things. Cool. Let's delete that line. So hover interaction. We just need this and then my player. So the first thing we're calling is check collisions. Although, okay, I was gonna say we're not returning anything, but that's because we just have a bunch of self variables that are getting set in here. So if self.x, yeah, that's the regular collision stuff. Self equals nil is player. So do we ever get out of that continue statement? Interactable check. Let's just make sure I'm at least hitting the, oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm literally never leaving. I'm literally never leaving this block for some reason. So the not should only apply to this one, because it would be parentheses. Whoops. How about I don't do that? And we do this. It would have to be end and then here. That would affect all the other ones. Let's go back. I think it has, because I just spent like 3 hours messing with how all my tiles are implemented as objects, but I still don't know how that would mess up what I'm trying to do. Unless I change something about the player, which again I don't think I did. Because it has self.isPlayer true. So, other object. Oh, no, wait. Not false? So why is it immediately trying to destroy itself? Let's just see that again. In function leave collision area. Leave collision area doesn't even have anything in it. In function leave collision. Attempt to call method destroy. Do I just have like an unsaved file somewhere? No. Let's get rid of you. I literally didn't change any of this though. Yeah, because if it's not true, then we want to continue. But if it is true, then we want to get to here. Player. Like, one of the only things I can think of is just I reordered some of the way these work, but all of this should run before even the first update, like, tick. So everything should already be, like, set up, I guess. If object tag. Because I changed this about the player, like where it spawns. It's taking the spawn tile and just taking the X and Y of that. I guess I can try just setting this to whatever. There's no way that there's literally no way that is what it is, but oops. No. Okay, so that's something I changed. Something else I changed is, let's see. Here. I commented this out, but that shouldn't make a difference. No. And honestly, well, I'm commenting out because I can use that for debugging later, but I don't know if it's just like this or something. Get set to false at the end of update because I only need it to trigger once. Draw objects. This is on draw, so I'm gonna try something stupid. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I changed that yesterday though, and it was still working perfectly fine. The only thing I can think of is this, but I need this to be at the top because my player needs to call it. Debug mode is true. Self.object handler. I mean, unless my player is just not... No, it's getting added to the object handler. Dang, I'm kind of at a loss here. NPC. Where is... Okay, let's not... PC destroy text. PC text draw. Oh my gosh, it is working. I think. fix it? I wonder, because I changed... Hold on. If I go to draw... and I'm drawing it like that... the opacity is getting overwritten by the default because the default object draw is I just changed the opacity to be invisible. I think that's what it was, and then I didn't have another opacity returning that into 1. That's not even it. Dang it. I thought that would be it. Oh, I know, like, I still need to do that anyways, because later it would have been invisible when I fix it. So I need to do that anyways, but I know that's not working because of the fact that we can't get to that debug message for some reason. So maybe we just try something else that's kind of outlandish, which is our NPC. We'll just have him spawn like higher up. So yeah, okay, it's not working, but I do want him to be up there. Self can collide. Yeah, can collide is false, but that doesn't mean that we can't trigger. We can't trigger this. So we're literally not ever leaving this. Oops. So let's give myself some more room here. If other object equals self. What if I do like print, oops, print other object dot, I don't know, his player. Why does it not like that? Print other object. I must have spelled it wrong. Yeah, that's fine that that's unknown. What? Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so those are just all nil. That's fine. The state.object handler. Print. His player. Just so weird. So the player, when it gets created, so we'll do my player. Oops. We're in our object class right now. Dev state my player. We create the player. We're creating an object, and we're sending it the object handler. Now, it's getting put in the object handler. Then over here, in the object handler, or in an interactable, we're receiving the state's object handler, which the player should be in. We're passing it into here. I mean, what if I just do like print? Get away, mouse. If I just do like print other objects. How many? Okay, we have. That's really bad, I think. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. Because that's on update. I thought we were creating 70,000 objects. We're not creating 70,000 objects. We are. We are listing out all objects in the object handler every frame. Other object. I just need a way to see what is in this table. And this is where a better debugger would probably help. I'm wondering if my player is not, in fact, getting added to I don't think my player is getting added to the object handler anymore. But it has to be. It has to be because it's colliding with the tiles. So oh, I should do okay. It's debugging God over here. If not other object dot type is equal to tile, then let's print the type. Okay, that's interesting. So at this point in the code, the only objects in this list are somehow just the tiles. Because it didn't print anything. Why did that change? Why did that change? So if I go to like item or a tile handler, we have tiles being created. But when they're being created, they are getting passed in the object handler, and they're getting sent to the object handler, as opposed to what? The object handler here, and the I mean, do I need to send in self or something? Love dot. No. Oh, also, I don't think that, what's that item? Type. I don't think type is a, oh, what am I trying to say? I don't think type is something I can put in parameters. Yeah, I just have it like this. So let's do params dot type or object. Oops. So then we can define it in here. So we can go to like type equals item. It's so weird because even that is not showing up. So for some reason this object handler list is not being updated for this. Why is the object handler list not being updated? Because it's only, or that's tile handler, interactable. Hover interactions. Yeah, it seems like this is not getting updated for some reason. I don't know why. That was like the original thing I guessed. Why are you not getting updated? Because I like fully condensed my code to be just this line. That's why I did this. I wonder. I wonder if I should pass in this into this update function. No, but I'm passing in self, which includes the object handler. So, like, if I'm passing in self to object as part of the state, like this is the state. And object handler is part of the state. So I am passing that in to any of my object update functions. Because this is an interactables inheriting from object. Do I need to do this? Do I need to do... Wait. Where was it? Object dot update self. I don't think that would make a difference, but no, it shouldn't make a difference. I'm really confused. Maybe I go back and to a different branch or something and see if here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do git switch create, and we're gonna call this new maps, and then I'm gonna do git switch dev. So this is my state. This should be my state before I started doing stuff. Theoretically. Wait. Your branch is ahead. Wait, did I not? I may need to stash that. I don't know why that brought those changes with me. Wait, I just confused myself. Get switch new maps. Get commit. Added new maps with tiles for warp points and spawn tiles. And then if I get switched to dev, okay, got that updated. All right, that's what I was trying to do. So this is what everything looked like. Okay, so it was even before this then that got messed up. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder when in time this did get messed up. All right, let's see. We're gonna look at git logs. Because I thought I knew what I changed, but apparently I don't. Let's see, dev. Okay, so those are from a while ago. And then debug mode. I'll have to remember how to just go back to a different commit to try it. Ben, if you're still here, what is the easiest way to go back to a different commit? Just to look at it. Let's see. Why are you not getting added to this? Move all code from menu state to base state menu. No, that's from a while ago. Let's see. Yeah, 'cause that's entity stuff, interactable. This is such a weird bug. Okay, let's go back to git switch new maps. And these should update accordingly. Because most of the files I was ever really working in was like tiles. So maybe tile handler. Because these are working perfectly fine, which is really weird. These are working absolutely perfectly fine. Because when I print tile types, or when I print object types, I just see a spam of tiles. And tile type X. But when if I say don't print anything else, it's tiles, then it doesn't print player or enemy or anything. But the enemy is still colliding. So for some reason, the up-to-date or the purposeful updating of my object handler is not working correctly. So what if we just go to object handler? Is this what I'm thinking of? Is this old? I don't think so. I think this is old. Yeah, I just have add to handler, object handler dot object table dot object. Oh, I wonder. Oh, I wonder. Is this object handler, when I call it in here, add, where does that get? Oh no, that gets called in the object class. So on initialization, I see the object itself on initialization gets added to the handler by taking itself and the object handler from the state. So we pass in the object handler from the state. Let me just pause. Let me just make sure I'm doing that. So our object handler is just a new object handler, which is literally a table. That's all it is. And then when I create my player, I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna put this above. We're gonna do, oh shoot. We might have to, oh, this is temporary. This is very temporary. I just copy this, and then I delete, what the heck? I delete that, and then I paste this, and if the object tag is player, oh, whoops, no, this one. If the object tag is player, then self.myPlayer is equal to a reference to that object. And then we can just do this, because why not? Because why not? So player is equal to this, and then we'll do tag equals player. Okay. So those spawned in the same spot, so I have a reference to it. Right, so if I comment this out, oops, I should only get one number. Okay, that's cool. What's not cool is the fact that on update, NPC hover interaction interaction. Why did we comment this out? I think I comment this out because this is just part of update at this point. Yeah, this is testing stuff, so for every object in here, can we do print object.tag? And that's gonna be a bit of a spam, but oops. I really need oh, there we go. Okay, so right. We have our player, we have our player spawn, we have all of this. And then, like, for our NPCs and stuff, we can just add, so like enemy tag, oops, needs to be in here. Can collide equals true, tag equals test enemy, right? And then we'll go. We even have our test enemy. Okay, so that's working. So on update, I can't believe I have to follow this. Oh, I guess I should try it for. No, because player is in the list of these, so we're fine. So if I change to interactable, we don't need that. On update, we take in the state of the object or the object handler that's part of the state, and we take in state.myPlayer. Oh, I wonder. So on hover interaction, the first thing we can just what am I doing? We can just pass in my player. We can just do my player, because that's the only thing it's going to be interacting with anyways. So let's do this. just for the sake of whatever, we're just gonna set we're just gonna set this to my player, and then everything in here we actually don't need that, and then we don't need this, and then everything in here we'll do replace other object dot my, or other object will replace with my player. I'm gonna comment this out for right now. I just want to see if this does what I want it to do. Okay, well, we're crashing my computer currently by doing that. So let's stop printing stuff in dev state. And let's do... Okay. So that's always printing that, which is good. Oh! Yes! I don't know what I changed. I seriously don't know what I changed. Yeah, but now we're creating new whatever. So let's just pass an object handler as well. Okay, if we fixed it, finally. I think it has something to do with the fact that I changed it to self.myplayer and not. I don't know why. I don't know. It works, and I'm kind of scared why it works. Why do you work? Okay. But we do need this to do... that line of code. So let's grab in our object handler, and then when we call collision check, we will need to pass in object handler. Okay, it works. I mean, that's not working because who knows why. Oops. Turn debug mode off. Yeah. What's up?
Oh, just wondering if you had.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that's working now. And I never like when things randomly work and I don't know what I did to change them. So yeah, as you can see, we have this as an NPC dialog box. And then you can also see when I'm sitting inside of this item. So I think I just need to change, let's pull up my item thing, and this is getting called, so interact. I think interact is getting updated every frame as well. from interactable. Yeah. Okay, so we're checking if we're hovering over the item. Oh, this is weird. Well, first of all, we're not even using our object handler, apparently. So let's get rid of that. We may need that later, but so why is this kind of getting called, so interaction on first hover? What is the difference? So interact. So if what in the world did I do here? So when this gets called, if my player dot interact is true, which is just a key press, and I'm hovering, then no, what is that? What in the world? Then we change this to be true. Because we only need to interact once. We don't want it to be a continuous thing. Yeah, interacting. Sitting an item. So this interact needs the object handler because it needs to destroy item interact. Oh, so if my player interact is true and self.hovering equals true, then whatever. It should destroy the item. Yes. And it should print this. So why is that not getting called, you might ask? Good question. So this is the default one, and then it's getting overridden by item. So I think I need to change somewhere. I need to change self.hovering, which I do up here. Okay. So interacting self.collision equals true. How do I know? What was my interact button? K. Yeah. So self.myPlayer.interact equals true. So in my interactable, I need to check if my player print my player dot interact. And that should be K. Oh. I can see it happening for a very brief moment. Oh, I know what I should do. I always figured I can do this. So if my player.interact is equal to true, then interacting. True. 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 All right. So interacting works. So we know when we're interacting. So self.hovering should also be true. Print self.hovering. Oh, hovering is messed up for some reason. It doesn't know we're hovering. Why? Self.hovering is true when we hover over and we do in this. Why does it not like this? Self-leave collision area. Oh. Okay. Hover interaction. So we're going to check collisions. And basically, if we're colliding, then collision action will be true and hovering will be true. If we're not colliding, hovering should be false and collision action should be false. Hovering... Oh, but hovering interaction gets called first. So hover interaction. Let's go to item first. Okay, so we're just inheriting hover interaction because I don't have anything for that. So hover interaction is the first thing that gets called, and we're checking collisions first. Then, if collision action is false, then go to continue. On our first hover interaction, we're going to say we're sitting in the item. And self-collision action equals false. And we need to say self.hovering is equal to true. No, that's still false. Where does that go wrong? Because it must not be there. So after first hover interaction, self.interact. So we can interact at any point in time. That's the idea. But when we do interact, interesting. I think what's happening is self.hovering is getting set back to false somewhere, but it's hard to really tell. So if we're colliding, self.hovering needs to be true, and we need to say that. Print self.hovering, or print hovering. Right? And the only time hovering gets set to false is if we leave the area. Interesting. Okay, so it's only getting called once, which is fine. No, that's how it's supposed to be working, because you can see if self.hovering is false, we don't call this again, because the interaction's only... I only need to know that once, and then the variable stays true until something else happens. And apparently hovering is... self.hovering. Self.hovering is getting called somewhere else. Self.hovering. It's really weird. I don't really want to just put it random places. Let's see. What? Oh, wait. I think I'm kind of dumb because I'm only printing that in my interactable thing. Like, let's yank this. Or yank the whole thing. And let's bring that over to here. And I don't think I need this. And we can just do... So on interact, let's do print self.hovering. Because we weren't hovering over the NPC, which is technically interactable. Okay, so we are hovering. So why is this not my player add to inventory self.destroy object handler? So why is, so that's working, so why is it not triggered? Why am I not getting, added to inventory? Because I'm hovering and print self, or my player dot interact. False. So I see some trues in there. Oh, so many debugging statements. Let's see. What? I'm so confused, man. Because both of these are true. What? Let's get rid of this. Can I find my... So if my player's interacting, what? Why is self.hovering? Self.hovering is literally true, though. So if self.hovering is equal to true, then print it. Wow, look, we're hovering and it's true. So if self.hovering is true and my player dot interact equals true, what? I think I might be getting confused because of these print statements. Let's get rid of this. And let's get rid of print. Oh, where's that true false coming from then? Setting an item, setting an item. For some reason, I'm not getting my player.interact for some odd reason. Let's see. I'll just follow the trace. So we're calling interact with my player from interactables, interact. And we're sending in my player, which is coming from here, which is coming from hover interaction, which is coming from state.myPlayer. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go back to my state, because that might be, yeah, that's fine. So when I press K, my player.interact. And then we send that into here. Oh boy. This is obviously working. I'm wondering, if I should not be using the word interact. I mean, it should know the difference just because of, like, obviously this class is different from the player. Interactable, interact. Oh, I'm noticing that I think these are getting called every frame. Because on update, we're just doing hover interaction. So every frame interact is getting called. I can see how that might be an issue. Why is hover interaction? We're checking collisions first. Hovering. Let's just do if self.hovering equals true, then we'll do this. Yeah. Because that shouldn't be called every tick, I don't think. So we'll print pre-call of interact. Okay. Pre-call of interact. Pre-call of interact. Okay. Okay. I think that was what it was. I think that was getting called every tick versus only when we were hovering. Which kind of makes sense. So let's go to our item and I think we need, oh, we're not passing an object handler. So interact object handler. And then we're technically not using it for the other one, but there we go. Added item to inventory 0. Cool. Okay, because that was just yeah, it was setting my player interact to false every frame. So there wasn't ever a frame where it could squeeze in that it was true. Even though I was printing it out that it was true, so that was a little weird. But yeah, it has to do with, I guess, tick stuff. Where are we calling that thing? Yeah, we don't need this, so get that out of there. And then cool, interacting, and we have the NPC text, and interacted with interactable, interact with interactable, and that shouldn't do anything here. Setting an item, grabbing item, added item to inventory. Cool. Alright, that was quite the tangent. But we can do. Let's go back to our dev branch. Git switch dev, and we'll do git. Oh, okay, I'll just merge them in, whatever. Git add, and then we'll do fixed bug with NPC, or with interactables not accepting player interacting. I see. Git commit. Bug fix interactables not recognizing my player dot interact. Push set upstream origin new maps. Let's go back to our dev branch. Git merge new maps. Okay. And then we can actually work on that. Okay, so I think we want to make we can make that warp object now an actual, oh. Why can I interact with you? Interesting. Did I do that intentionally? Oh, I think I did. I think I did, because we can create yes, okay, so these should technically be interactables. Wait, let's do no. Let's kill this buffer. Let's not save it. Oops. And then let's reopen it. Here. And then we'll do spawn objects tile handler. And then, okay, these are, okay, so these are interactables. Game objects. So warp. So this is nothing because it's not even a tile. Bottom right corner grass can collide is true. Can collide is false. So I'm wondering. And that's the thing we're interacting with. This is nothing. That's just being drawn. This you can still interact with. Nice. Okay, good. And then this is the wrong tag. Like, so we'll tag it as warp. Okay, so I think this is a good stopping point, because the next thing I want to do is the screen transitions, where we turn those warp objects after we interact with them or just hover over them. It should move us to a new X and Y coordinate and change the dev state. But that is going to be quite the project, I think. I didn't mean for the whole second half of this to just be bug fixing, but it was bothering me too much. But yeah, I think I will end this here. How long did I even go? Maybe... How do I say my uptime? Almost 4 hours. That's pretty good. But yeah, today we set everything up to do this, basically. We parsed out all the layers from tiled. So now I can make different layers do different things in my tile handler after they get parsed from STI. So they get parsed from STI, and I don't like the way they do it, so I'm more or less bringing them in as a map, and then based on all the names, creating my own tile objects that can collide, have the positions from the parsed tiles, and then they get drawn. I'm using the regular STI module to draw. Oops. Let's see. My dev state. So it is nice that I can just use the STI module here in game map, draw layer, to draw the different layers. And then if I want to make them my own objects by my own definitions, I can here. I can just parse it out from STI. So basically, like, if the layer name is spawn, then make a tile, tag it player spawn, and do whatever I want with it, and then I can make my player spawn at that point. And then the same thing for the objects, which were a little intense to work with, but also they have this really weird Y offset that I still need to figure out. But I can name them different things, and then now instead of having to code in where I want different things, I can like take an object and just put it here, and then I can just export my map. And then when I reload this, that item should appear up here now. I didn't name it anything, so that's why it's not doing anything. It's only getting, but it's getting drawn because it's part of the objects layer. But it literally takes like 2 lines of code over here to add, if the object is called blah 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 from tile, do this certain thing. So that's what I'm planning on doing with the warp tile, because I already have it named. And then basically if the tile is called warp or whatever, then all it's going to do is just change the player's X and Y position when I'm interacting with it as a tile object, not as an STI parsed thing or whatever. And then also we did, what else did we do? Definitely, yeah, all the bug fixing, but yeah, thanks for everyone who joined. I'm going to hop off and probably be streaming tomorrow as well. But yeah, see you guys.